Grace finished scribbling the message, then looked into her father's frantic eyes. "What did you find, Daddy?" As a scholar and professor of literature at the University of Denver, Herschel Mallory had been hired by Chaucer Haversham to catalog his father's extensive library in the family's Denver mansion, a mansion Chaucer had inherited but never visited. From what Grace had heard, he avoided Denver altogether, preferring the estate in Boston, where his mother maintained a residence. Tremont and Caroline Haversham had lived apart for the last decade, Caroline seeing to the raising and education of their son, while Tremont oversaw the mining operations. Apparently, the situation suited both parties, a state Grace had always considered rather sad. She'd never met Chaucer Haversham, but she couldn't help feeling a little sorry for the young man who'd been separated from his father during the very years he was coming of age. She would have been lost without her own father. He meant the world to her, his love and acceptance never in question. Grace's mother had been her mentor, teaching her to pick out the dots and dashes of Morse code as a child in her telegraph office, then guiding her in the ways of womanhood and domestic responsibilities. But when she died 2 years ago, the shared grief of that loss had bonded Grace and her father as tightly as if the broken halves of their hearts had been melted down, reshaped, and forged into an unbreakable, interlocking design. It was that closeness that had her senses on full alert when her father fiddled with his satchel strap instead of answering her question. She reached out and covered his fidgeting gloved hand with her bare one. "Tell me, Daddy, what did you find?" "Proof, Gracie." His gaze met hers, and the mix of dread and determination in his eyes set her stomach to cramping. Proof that Haversham's first child didn't die with her mother. Proof that Haversham tried to find her. Proof that the odd wording of his will makes his daughter an heiress and his son simply a business owner. "You found this proof in the library at Haversham House?" Her father nodded. "But if the documents are Mr. Haversham's property, what can you possibly do about it?" He dropped his gaze. "Daddy?"